I'm Robert Cavuto, and today on Sonic Perspectives, I'm pleased to be speaking with guitar legend Michael Schenker for the release of his new album, My Years with UFO, on September 20th. Michael, how are you? It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for the time. I love your new album. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, I have to ask, was this the right time to release the album since UFO has retired?
50th anniversary, no matter what.
And so, is it the right time? Is this the best time to release it?
You know, I don't think about best or not best. It's the 50th anniversary. I have noticed in remasters that there was very little information about the history of what it is. Basically, there was just the band name and the song title. People whistling songs don't know where it comes from, what it is 50 years later. I mean, I was born 55. I don't know what happened in the year 1900, so it's a long time. So I use this situation as well as re-educating people or educating newcomers, you know, for many, over 50 years, and many continents and many countries have opened up to this music. And so it's good to open up the history on what it is, etc. And basically, I also noticed or realized eventually, because I don't really backtrace much, that most of the songs of Strangers of the Night, which was basically a best-of album, most of the songs were written by myself. So I kind of make a emphasis on that as well, which, you know, on the album release, the liner notes and all of that, there's a lot of information about the history, which is very interesting.
Now, you had a selection. You have a fantastic selection of singers on this album. Were they friends of yours? Were they acquaintances? How did you come across them and pick them for the songs?
Well, you know, the music was a small world, but you know, you bump into people. Like it's a combination of different things. Like, you know, I came up with situations, you know, or I was involved in situations like Stephen Pearcy, meeting him on a Monsters of Rock cruise last year. He came towards me with open arms, saying, "Michael, I love you," and so I used that opportunity to ask him, you know, to sing on my album. And Dee Snider was next to me at a ward in Wales and telling me what a great fan, a UFO fan he was, etc. And I you know, used that opportunity to ask him, you know, why don't you sing on my album? And I was in the dressing room in Barcelona on the festival. Next door, I mean, just divided by a curtain, was Biff Byford from Saxon. And I pulled the curtain and I said, "Hey, Biff, do you fancy?" And he says, "Yes, Michael." You know, like that. And then there was the situation with Axl, where Slash came to the studio in Frankfurt and told me, and said to me, "Hey, Michael, I just told Axl that I'm on my way to do this with you." And he said, "Oh, maybe I can sing a song or two as well." And I said, "Well, that would be fantastic," you know. So Axl ended up singing "Love to Love," which is an excellent version. And then, you know, some people, I had no idea who they were, but they were suggested by other people, by record company or by Michael Voss, my co-producer. And I listened to them on YouTube and I went like, "Hey, yes, that's it." I mean, Kai from Helloween, and Erik, who was just currently in Skid Row. You know, I never heard him sing before, and so I heard him, and I went like, "Wow, what a voice!" You know, let's get him. And so it's like that. And then Roger Glover, I think, was an idea of Michael Voss, because Michael Voss is a Michael Schenker fan, and you know, probably a Deep Purple fan, but Roger Glover, he produced my first Michael Schenker Group album, and they just happened to be on the same record company as me, and So that's how that came together. But Roger Glover, what a beautiful bass player. I never knew. I have known him for a long time, but I never knew how great he plays on the bass, you know.
Everybody did a tremendous job. I really thought so. And Joey Tempest nailed it. He was tremendous. I have to wonder, did you ask them to each sing multiple songs and then pick which singer sounded the best on each song?
No, I mean, the only person I think who tried 3 songs was Axl. He did Too Hot to Handle and Only You Can Rock Me and Love to Love. But because they were on the tour, he is a perfectionist and he wanted to do it right. But he didn't have enough time for 3 songs. But he did sing them. They sound great too. But he decided to focus on Love to Love only, and fantastic job. Joey Tempest, absolutely amazing. But they all got whatever was there. Whoever was approached first probably had the most, the most songs to choose from. Oh, okay. But I think each one kind of they had their favorite anyway. It just worked out that at the end of the day, everybody who was choosing their song was available, and it was just out the way it did.
It's fantastic. And you had some great guitar players. You had Joel Hoekstra and you had Kai on them. Fantastic. I noticed you didn't have Kurt Hammond, who's of Metallica, who's a huge fan of yours. I mean, he was even on the Metal Show with you. Was he approached?
I can't remember, but I have done quite a few things with Kirk, and so Michael Voss, my co-producer, he usually does most of the contacting, and I'm not really sure how some of the stuff came about. I think maybe Kirk. I think James Hetfield actually was approached.
Wow.
And I think that's what happened. I think you have to talk to Michael Voss. Yeah.
You talked about Stephen Pearcy. I love RATT. I love Stephen Pearcy. You were in RATT. I saw you at the Unplugged show in New York City in the 90s. Were you guys always, he performed Shoot Shoot. Were you always on good terms with him, or was it renewed when you saw him on the cruise?
It was Warren DiMartini. He was a fan and friend. He became a friend because we bumped into... I love Round and Round, by the way, when that song came out. And so Robin McCauley and I were sitting in a hotel lobby, a bar or restaurant, and Warren and Crosby came in and sit next to us and telling us, how much of fans they were.
Right.
And so that's how Warren DiMartini connected. We both connected, and so I ended up helping them out on the RATT tour. But that was kind of a catastrophic experience, to be honest, because they weren't really big friends in the group, But when Stephen came on the boat, I did the last thing I thought about was RATT. I just saw Stephen coming with open arms, saying, "Michael, we love you," and I thought, "That's it. You sing Shoot Shoot."
That's awesome. Yeah, I was in the audience that time for the Unplugged show in New York City, MTV Unplugged, and it really enjoyable back in the day. Over the 40 years that you wrote these songs and you recorded these songs, your playing has improved tremendously. Because you were just a kid when you started out. Did you approach recording them differently than the way they were originally written and recorded back in the day?
No, I don't know. As time goes by, and I just do what I do, and when it comes to the point of, let's do this 50th anniversary, that's where I'm currently at, and that's what I present.
Got it. I think the album sounds great. It sounds current. It sounds, it doesn't sound dated. It sounds up to date, and the guitar tone is full of bite and presence. What was your setup in the studio, and did you use any vintage instruments that you had from back in the day?
Yeah, I always use the same thing. If it works, don't fix it. I wear the 50-watt 22, 20, what is it? I forgot the number now. It's 22 05, I think. 50-watt Marshall. I have my Dunlop rubber pedal. I don't use actually any effects other than delay, but not in the studio even, because in the studio you don't want to use delay because you want to be able to add the right amount at the end of the day. And so basically it goes into my pedal board, even though they're not switched on, into my Marshall. I played the Gibson, but that's also 50th anniversary. Also 50th anniversary is 50 years of not listening to music other than lobby music or in a taxi or wherever in a boutique. And and that's it.
Sounded great. Who were the other musicians that filled in, like on drums and bass, that were, featured? I don't have a liner note, so I'm just curious. Who were some of the backup or studio musicians?
They're the best of the best. It's the Serenian, Derek Serenian on keyboards.
Wow. Yep, I know.
And it's Barry Sparks, who used to be with Ingrid Malmsteen and also played with me with MSG, and also Brian Tichy, one of the best drummers in the world, who's currently, I think, with
Whitesnake.
Kiss guy, what's his name?
Bruce Kulick, yeah.
The one with the tongue.
Gene, yes, he's playing with Gene right now, yeah. But he was also in Whitesnake, too.
Okay.
Now, I have to ask, would you ever consider doing a similar project for my years with the Scorpions and use guest musicians? Because you were on 3 albums with the Scorps.
Not really, actually. I think only the first one, Lonesome Crow, when I was 15 years old, and then Left Right, which was just a helping out attempt. Well, of course, my brother asked me, and that was it. And so I'm not even thinking of my years with. that was a spontaneous thing that came up with UFO. I'm not thinking that is going to be a concept for the rest of my life. I mean, that's just a one-off thing at this point in time.
Got it. Your musical journey, we've talked many a times before. You've had the musical journey. You put your career in different phases. When you were writing for UFO, you were a kid, and you're a man now. What did you learn about yourself revisiting these old songs?
Nothing. I'm exactly the same person. I have already subconsciously, as 15-year-old, approached everything as a pure self-expression. I was convinced that pure self-expression is my mission. I loved the late 60s, Johnny Winter, Rory Gallagher, Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck. They all had their own style, and I wanted to have my own style. The only way you can have it is pure self-expression, and that's what I've been doing for 50 years. That's why I didn't listen for 50 years to music, and that's why I became, Michael Schenker with a distinctive guitar sound and way of playing.
That's great, and we love you for that. I've seen you countless times in New York and New Jersey on stage. Are you going to be taking this out as a live show?
Yeah, we already committed to Wacken in 25, and Alcatraz is another festival, and then we are actually also committed to a European tour with Erik singing, by the way. Okay. And we are working on a US tour for 25. So we have the festivals. Also, I heard from Michael Voss, my co-producer, that Axl Rose is interested in doing Japan with us. Wow. So that's great. Yeah. And so we have Japan, Europe, the festivals in summer, and a US tour towards autumn next year. And I guess that basically will fill up the whole of 25.
I can't wait to see you again in 2025 when you come to New York or New Jersey. Would you consider going with... You've had multiple singers, concerts, Michael Schenker Fest, you've had used multiple singers. Would you do something like that again, or would you just stick with one singer?
Well, we're doing the... what are you talking about, Michael Schenker Fest?
Yeah, at Michael Schenker Fest you had multiple singers. When you do a new tour for this, would you be using multiple singers for different songs, or would you keep one singer throughout the whole show?
No, I mean, Michael Schenker Fest was one thing, and this is a my years with UFO, and so you pick basically one singer, but there are the possibilities that other singers that were singing on the album are there at the same time.
Cool.
So there's always hope for a jam or with somebody jumping in, singing their original version they did on this album.
Yes, that's great. That's great. Michael, I want to thank you so much for your time. You're such a musical inspiration. I love all your music, and I look forward to seeing you when you come around. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much, Robert.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.